All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're about to begin our second week rather. So, just to recap, Stephanie, do you remember what happened 2 weeks ago?
Oh God, that was a...
Okay, so let me do the DM recap. So, Val of the Sparrow Clan.
Raph.
Oh, that's right. It's Raph of the Sparrow Clan. Got somehow separated from her band when they went to go sell livestock, or rather, wildlife that sold as livestock in the city of Offmaria, which is the capital of Thumaria, or the Offramian Empire as it's also known. The land between two walls. It's got a lot of fucking names. What do you expect when there's a lot of people that live there, though? So, you got basically roped into semi-escally the control/citizenship. We know what you're doing at all times.
Big brother.
Big brother. The empire, the king is there to serve you, and you serve the king, and all that good fun stuff. Well, part of that was finding a job. So, in part of finding a job, you were employed by a couple of dwarves for a few weeks.
I have a question about employment in Offmaria.
Okay.
Could you theoretically be paid by someone to just like goof around all day?
As long as you're under their employment, yes.
Okay.
So let's see. You ended up being sent to the job squares, and that's where you met the dwarves. And it's also where you met the kindly old lady that hired you. So, without much conversation, she ended up kidnapping you basically into a horse-drawn carriage halfway across the city, and before you knew it, you were sitting in a flower garden discussing why she was looking for someone.
Oh, and I picked flowers, and I made her a flower crown.
That's right.
And Orc was like, I don't like this bitch. She's crazy.
Like, we gotta kind of wonder about you there. So, let's see.
Oh my God.
So you ended up being hired by them. You were told that there were some papers in the Lord Twain's manor that you would have to retrieve. And Mormont, the orc footman, had actually hired you to actually go put flowers on the family graves. And then you were also reminded that, it would probably be in your best interest to probably, look around the city, loot things, try to make up for what they may, what you may not be satisfied with what they pay you. Mm-hmm. And then you guys, or rather you, ended up going and you did a short shopping trip. You went down to basically the river send-off where your raft was, and you met Ibis, who is a very large, tall gentleman, shaved head. Or no, excuse me. He's got long hair, shoulder length, flat goatee, which is closely trimmed, brown eyes, and pale skin.
Alright, so this is how I described Ibis in my notes. Wizard, big boy, long black hair.
Yep, and for people that are out there listening, you could also picture Ibis as looking like Rasputin.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so you and Ibis ended up going down the river on basically one of the rafts that the kingdom uses to transport goods, people, services. Now, when you all started the trip out, you were pretending that you were just another river crew, just moving stuff along the river, because the town of Twain's Mark is not... It's not something that you should be trespassing into. In fact, one of the things that I don't think I mentioned in passing that the river crew would have said is that, oh, there's no real, you have to pull all the way off to the side and land on a riverbank to land here, and then you have to walk up the hills, and there's nobody to help. There's no guide ropes or anything, so you're just walking up a wild embankment hill. That's like a 45 degree.
Oh my God.
So it's real easy to just tumble off and back into the water. And
like
it's
definitely doesn't want you there.
Yeah, it's pretty much because the way that they set up this town is so that it would be very fancy, and you'd pull into like where they have like the main docks and everything. However, if you all were to do that, you would have been noticed, even though at the hour that you all that you all approached, there really wasn't anybody else around. The crew had thrown up a grappling hook with a rope, and you all had climbed up. And no sooner than you all were in the town than you all had your first creepy incident, which was the doll. And then followed by that, you met the Underdank Express.
Is that what they call themselves?
Or the Vampires 3.
Oh, I love that. The Underdank Express.
Which is Iggy the Bard. He has it shaved on the sides. It's long on the top, and he swoops it to one side. You have Blaine, who has an absolute shaved head, and he wears rose-colored sunglasses.
Is he like a bowling ball head?
Yeah, like he keeps it really, like he keeps it down to the skin for some reason. And then you have Tuff, who's sporting the Vanilla Ice 1980s style hairstyle. But however, when you see them, you know, it's like your typical gothic bard, you know, like black waistcoats and purple and blacks, and you know, so they really, really stick out. When you met them, they were basically hanging out in a little garden, a mortuarium garden, but kind of like a space where people used to, you know, they'd go walk with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a betrothed. And so you all met them, and they were smoking marijuana, and you decided that you were going to eat one of the nugs that they had.
Oh, God, that's right.
Which caused you to instantly start seeing that there were not so much ghosts, but you were starting to see some kind of ethereal reflection. So after that encounter, you and Ivas basically left them and tried to continue your mission. Along the way, you ended up encountering something in the Baker's Corner, which was the Plague Doctor, and you fought 3 of these bag-filled creatures that seemed to be some kind of ghost. Halfway through the battle, the Underdank Express heard the commotion, and they came to the rescue because, well, you know, they probably felt guilty that, you know, they had let you eat all that huge nug of marijuana that was laced with whatever they had laced it with. So, and then from that point, you all had basically, you had encountered the temple. The temple that you had found was dedicated to the 4 gods, the 3 Lightbringers, which I believe that when I went through it, it's Hieronymus, Palor, St. Cuthbert,
and Nerul.
Well, it's not Nerul. I think it's, I think I had it as Obadiah. I have it in my notes, but I also have it marked on one of the maps too here someplace. But anyways, it's not so much who the temple is dedicated to as to what you found in the temple, which was you had seen that there were 4 clerics and their bodies were completely desiccated, and they looked like their bodies had been preserved / mummified while they were engaged in some kind of melee to kill one another, to the point where, you know, all of these these 4 clerics were basically all, like, died with a weapon in one another. From there, I believe that you all had made mention of going to the graveyard. So from there, from the graveyard, I believe is where we left off, or you guys had decided to seek cover, which I believe is what you all did, and rather than going into the graveyard automatically, because Ivas had pointed out that he needed to refresh his spells, and that, you know, he needed a few moments to study his spell books and everything, and it was decided that it'd probably be a good idea to bring yourselves to some place that you could secure, rest up, and kind of draw a game plan. So I believe that's where we'll begin.
Okay.
Just so that everybody knows, the section that we're in is what's known as Alchemist Row. Alchemist Row is I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a street like we would think of it, but it's more or less a collection of about let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's probably about 15 buildings, and the backs of the buildings have fences. See, that's how you can really tell that it's the back. The fences are not interjoining, so there is space between the buildings, like an alleyway. And these buildings don't have any lights in them or anything. And you guys said that you chose the first building on the row. So we didn't, because of a rush for time and, you know, our production time being basically drawn to a close, we just put you all into the house with no problems. So that's where we'll go ahead and pick up.
All right.
So, with all of that being explained, where would you like to begin?
I don't know.
So it's you and 4 men in a store that's long abandoned, covered in dust. There's still things on the shelves.
Ooh. Okay. So guys, this is going to be gross. We got to dust these shelves off and see what kind of stuff we can use here.
So while you're starting to mention that,
No.
you hear Ivis go, oh well, I imagine that, you know, I can help with that. And you hear him, and he moves his fingers in a certain way, and all the dust in the room just goes.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's just like somebody had just instantly vacuumed all the dust out of the room.
All right. So we need to think both defensively and offensively. Like, we have to gather up as many potions as we can that are here.
Okay.
And other things that you think might help us.
So you need, if you are starting to suggest of looting, you know
I mean, it's not illegal.
Sure. It's not illegal. So let's give you a couple of d20s here.
Okay.
Let's see, we'll give you 2 greens, a dark green marble, a light green marble, and 2 black dice. How does that sound? Okay, so give me a roll of the d20 and add your perception score.
I got a 19.
Nice.
My perception score is... Wait,
I got your base stats here. So it's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So at a 23, what you can tell is that there are no healing potions.
Mm-hmm.
At least anything labeled a healing potion. In fact, with what you've got with a 24, you would notice that... Let me see, because you have... No, you don't. So, you would be expecting to see something labeled healing potion. So after a few minutes, you notice that Ivis and the Underdank Express are like kind of like opening boxes, drawers. You know, they're looking on shelves in this place, and it's basically like you could stand in the middle of the room. The 4 of you could stand side by side, no matter which way you turn. And there's shelves that fill like the sides of the room, and then there's the door where you came in, and there's not really a window or anything. So what ambient light that you have in here is kind of just, you know, it's, well, you know what, for the sake of argument, we'll say that like there's a skylight, so like there's enough ambient light to like y'all don't have to light up a torch or anything, because of course the stars and stuff in this world are not as dim as they are in ours, so you could see pretty well in low light vision because you are an elf. You know, you keep seeing them look around and everything, and you hear Ivis say, "There is no healing potions or anything to make healing." And he goes, "But however, I have found this book."
Okay.
So he's sitting there, and you notice that while he's sitting there and he's reading it, he pulls out a pipe absentmindedly and he lights it up, and he's sitting there and he's just, you know, it's tobacco, you can smell it. It smells like cherries, in fact. And he goes, "This is very interesting." He goes, "It appears that just like the old woman told us, there indeed was some kind of sickness. And they did quarantine the town. Let's see here. Temple clerics came and cleaned out all supplies in order to try to craft potions. 2 days later, no effects on the illness. Beware that some people carry small bugs inside of wounds that have infested bodies to the point of the worms hang out of the skin like hungry mouths.
Ew.
The clerics tell us it is called rotworm.
That's important, let's write that down.
Not only that, but oh my, it says that there was another sickness. From the south, no, from the east end of town, we heard screams in the night, and we assumed that it was the dying. Let's see here. The handwriting is shaky. In the night, I seen them move around. It says something about people moving at night.
The fuck?
But it says that they are sick, and they still move around.
Ugh.
That for some reason their bodies do not die, and they continue to stay ambulatory. And a day later, the journal ends as if the resident was not able, or whoever this was not able to write another page.
Oh no. So, whatever it is, got him.
Indeed.
Wow, what the hell?
So about this time, you hear three voices, like, kind of whispering.
Yeah, you should say something.
So Iggy turns around and goes, maybe. So the three of them look at one another, and they're kind of trying to see who's going to say something first. So since Iggy's kind of the ringleader, he says, well, if you guys aren't going to say something, I'm going to say something. He goes, look, I don't know what y'all came here for, but the three of us are going to break into Alcher's House of History and Wax Museum, okay? That's what we came here for. You know, our teacher, Mistress Ravenwind, she sent us here to explore the city and to basically break into the museum. Look, since obviously whatever's going on in the city is probably really dangerous, we all need to be truthful with one another.
Yeah.
That's what we came here for.
Alright. Well.
And I haven't seen these assholes in 4 years, so I know for myself that I haven't been up to any shady shit.
Hey, man, hey!
And he's not looking at you when he says that.
Oh.
He's more or less looking at the other two.
Well, we were hired to grab some documents from Lord Twain's manor. And this big, beefy orc dude was like, hey, could you put some flowers on my family's graves? And we're like, yeah, okay, cool. So that's why I'm here. Because I didn't have a job, so they forced me to get a fucking job. And someone hired me to do this. So I look like a productive member of society. Even though where I'm from, we don't do stuff like that.
So you hear Ivis go, well, I am a wizard. Hired by, you know, same person as you. My personal business is my own. Now, if you don't mind, I need 4 hours in order to refresh my spells.
Alright.
I suggest that we all take a little time and rest. You notice that the three of them have the Underdeck Express have kind of withdrawn to another corner of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem really intent on having some kind of private conversation. I don't know what your reaction to that is, so if you have an adverse one to that, let me know.
Nah.
Okay.
I think that, I mean, I feel like I should, but at the same time...
Well, you know that, hello, you're an elf and you have big ears. So, you could... there are other ways to go about that using your skills and stuff.
Alright. So, what would
I'll point that out to you as the helpful DM.
What would I have to roll to listen in on their conversation?
So, if you were to want to listen into their conversation, I would tell you to give me another perception roll.
Okay. I got a 15.
16, 17, 18, 19. No, what was it?
15.
16, 17, 18, 19. Is that what I said, 19?
Yeah.
I think it was. Okay. So at a roll of 19, you kind of hear Iggy, and he's like, look, guys. He goes, I don't know what the fuck you guys are going to do. But the point is that we gathered here 4 years ago for when we read, we break into the museum, and we get the stuff for, okay? We go back, we get our money, we finish our class, we're out. It's not that hard. Tough is, Tough gets kind of like, kind of distant about it. And he goes, look, I don't care about the classes anymore. I have other things going on. I agreed to this because, we grew up together. But the fact of the matter is that once this job is done, we're done. I don't want anything to do with you guys anymore. And you hear Blaine start laughing about it, and he goes, well, I didn't need you guys to begin with. He goes, I only came back because, I need you to, unfortunately. And you hear, he goes, well, are you gonna say something about what you're both carrying, or no?
Uh-oh.
And they look at him and they go, that's none of your business. And then they look at one another. And he turns around and he kind of just sets himself up on a counter and, he ends the conversation at that. And you notice that the other two are kind of eyeballing each other and they kind of slowly withdraw to corners of the room. So...
Wow.
For another hour and a half, it's like completely quiet. So by this time, you notice that Ibis must be getting close to whatever he's doing because like he seems to be relaxing a little bit more. And the next 45 minutes pass by with no problems or anything. And he stands up and he goes, "Okay, my friends. So, have you all decided what you're going to do? And what we are going to do?"
I don't know how to break it to him that I didn't think about it at all.
Okay, so like you talk to Ibis about it. I mean, he is your other party member.
All right, dude. Okay. Anyway,
You're having a moment of trying to figure out how to phrase it, aren't you?
I look at your face, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm talking to Ibis. It's like, oh my god. Okay, you look like you're gonna be really mad.
Why would I be mad?
Well, I didn't really think about it. I started thinking about fear hurting and sparrows, whatever I decided it was called. And, I kind of got lost in just happy memories because we might not make it.
In the moment that you say that, like Blaine, you see Blaine, he starts smiling. And he goes, why do you think we're not going to make it?
I don't know, man. This is definitely new to me because we don't, undead stuff is just super duper rare in, like, the woods, unless it's, like, some weird reanimated tree thing, because that happens sometimes. No big deal.
Yeah, where you get a Trent that's been hit by a lightning bolt.
Yeah, and it's still alive,
it was destroyed by a farmer.
It was
or something,
really,
and it comes back.
It's really scary the first couple of times. But then it's like, damn it, who wants to make some gold? And then they send a band out to put the guy down and, you know, give him his proper respect and burial. Because that's what we do in the forest, you know?
When you start making these comments, you notice that Blaine becomes undecidedly uncomfortable with what you're stating. And Iggy is kind of he doesn't seem fazed by it. Tough kind of like he kind of he seems a little interested in what you were saying. Ibis looks around and he goes, so what you mean to say is you didn't make a plan while I studied books?
No, sorry.
Okay, everyone. So, we have to go to that mansion. They have to go where they're going. We can either stay together or we can split up. I'll put it to you that way. He goes, since I am knowledgeable of adventuring and dungeoneering, that would be my suggestion.
Okay.
But however, at the same time, I'm a little curious about what's going on outside.
Me too.
And I'm more wondering to take a walk. I don't know about the three of you, but I've made sure that when I refresh my spells, that I'm able to do a little bit more damage. That way it may be able to help us just a little, rather than last time where it was a mad scramble of what spells did I really need. Now that we know a little bit what we're fighting, we'll be a little more prepared, eh?
Yeah, that's true.
Good. He goes, none of you lose your shit.
Okay.
He goes, Sigis, buddy. Oh, Sigis, where are you?
Uh-oh.
And out of his robe, you see this thin little hand with 3 fingers reach up. It's a real thin arm. It's got claws on it and scales.
Ew, what the hell is that?
There's another hand that pops up. And then slowly, you see this face that's big bulbous nose. Like eyes that are like a cat's. He's got pointed ears. And he goes, yes, master! What can I do for you?
Oh my god.
And he goes, oh, Sigis, my wonderful familiar friend. How would you like to take a walk without me? He goes, I remember this chap. Last time you sent a familiar, there was a booby trap. So the two of them begin a conversation, and the short and long of it is that you get the sensation that the Sigis creature helps Ibis, but he's not really loyal to Ibis. And it comes to the point where Ibis bribes him with candy. Like, he takes a piece of candy out of his pocket and he goes, if you help me, I'll give you this candy. And you see Sigis look at him and, like, rubs his chin and leans out of the pocket a little more. Okay, master. You got a deal this time. And it scrambles out of his pocket, and you notice it has, like, these little short wings. Aww. Like, as soon as he's out of the pocket, you hear... and it's flying in the air. The minute that it's out of the pocket, the Underdank Express start freaking the fuck out. And they go, that's a fucking imp! He's got a goddamn imp! Who the fuck has an imp? And Sigis goes, this is why I told you not to lose your fucking shit. He goes, not everybody that has an imp is evil. Some of us enjoy them. And you actually see him pick up Sigis like he's a cat. Aww. And he's holding him and petting him. And Sigis has this look on his face like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but I'm going to eat this piece of candy while you're doing it.
Aww.
And he's like, Sigis is a good friend. He would never hurt you. Unless you're trying to hurt me. But And then we give them the stabby while they sleep, yes? And Sigus starts smiling and he waves his tail. And you notice there's a scorpion stinger on the end of it.
Oh, great. Well, Rafflesia is familiar with weird shit.
Actually, unless you have knowledge, the Outer Planes, you've never seen or know what this is.
Would I be? I don't think I would be that scared though. I'd just be like, okay, what the fuck?
I think for you, along the same lines that you've seen Ibis use magic, that it would be a, oh, this is just another end of the magic. I don't know why they're upset about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that would probably be the more correct attitude towards it. But, you know, that's just a suggestion.
I like that. She's just like, it's just magic, guys. Chill out.
So, when he's talking to Sigus, he says, Sigus, my friend, if I open the door, will you go take a small flight around the building and tell me what you see? And you see Sigus do this, while he's sitting in his arms and goes, one piece of candy? Oh, I'm so hungry. And he goes, okay, how about I give you a snacky snack? And he pulls out like a little piece of beef jerky. And Sigus goes, done! He flies up in the air, snatches it out of his hand, and is waiting by the door already. So, I'm not sure who's closest to the door. So we'll probably say it was you that's closest to the door.
Alright.
So you open the door for him. Sigus looks and he goes, thank you! And then, like, you hear him, but you can't see him. And then you can't hear him at all. And then you're just, if you leave the door open, you're just basically looking down the street.
Well, I can't hear him anywhere, so obviously the building's got to be pretty big.
Okay, so he's flown up in the air, and he's flying somewhere around, as far as you know. And then I need to do a roll for Sigus, because he's trying to see what's going on. Let me see here, just so we can do this the proper way. Because I like to actually see the actual stats for him, so I can be able to make this fair. I know. Still, I'm the DM, and I'm saying that. Let me see here. I don't even think they stuck him in the book at all, to tell you the truth. That is the one thing that I hate about when they redo a monster manual. Is, you know, they leave out, like, the little stuff. Like, I bet you the imp is in the player's handbook or something. But, oh, you know what? I've got stats for it in something else. So, there we go. Oh, well, it won't matter anyways. So, you hear, all of a sudden, like, when you're still looking out the door, right?
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, you feel this hand on your back,